Holly's trying to solve the summation k equals 9 to 13 of 13 minus 9k using the formula given here. She substitutes the values n equals 4, a sub 1 equals negative 68, and a sub n equals negative 104 to discover the sum of negative 340. What can be determined about our work? Now, as I begin this problem, I want to start with the easiest piece of information. And I would say that's the sum, because that's what sigma does. If you type in the calculator, it'll give us the sum. Let's check and see if our sum is correct. So I'll open this up, and you go to the button next to 9, and that's where you find sigma. And we said that k equals 9, and we do this up to 13, and the value was 13 minus 9k. When I press enter, this gives me the sum of negative 430. Let me just get that out of there. So negative 430 is what the sum should be. So what we just discovered is the S of n equals, negative 430, which means it does not equal negative 344. So this here, she did not make her error. Her answer is correct. This is obviously incorrect because she did make an error. S of n does not equal negative 344. So that's our justification that J is out. Okay, so let's continue on. The next thing I think is the easiest is to find the first term and the last term. Or you could say the n value, but the first term, what we do is we always plug in the bottom number. And we'll do this in green. So if I wanted to find a sub 1, what I would do is I'd say a sub 1 is when, it occurs when k equals 9, because that's the bottom number. So I would say 13 minus, so because of that information, we go 13 minus 9 times 9, which would be 81. But just to make sure we don't make a math error, I'm just going to type it in just like that in the calculator. I'll go here, say 13 minus 9 times 9. Anytime you substitute, you use parentheses like that, I get negative 68. That equals negative 68, which is, that's what she had, so that part is good. She didn't make an error there. She made an error. That's not true. This part is correct. So I'm going to scratch that part out because a sub 1 does equal negative 68. It does equal negative 68. So that's not it. Let's try a sub n. A sub n you find by plugging in the highest k value. So a sub n, that doesn't look like an a sub n. Let me try that again. A sub n is when k equals 13 because it's the top number. So we'll type in the calculator. It's 13 minus 9 times 13. I'm just substituting right there. And let's see what that equals. So I go over to my calculator. 13 minus 9 times 13, which is negative 104. Okay, and so here it's saying that a sub n does not equal negative 104. It does. So that's not it either, which means by process of elimination, F has got to be the true answer here. But let's check it. How do we find the n? Well, n is when you count up your k value. So k could equal 9, it could equal 10, equal 11, 12, and also 13. How many different values of n is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Excuse me, values of k is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thus, n equals 5 since 5, I'll just do k's. Since there are 5 k's, that's why n equals 5. So that part is her mistake. Now, if you want to check your answer over here, we could have found the true sum of negative 430 using this formula if we would have plugged in a 5 there. So let's see if it works out right in a calculator. So I will say it's a fraction, so we'll hit Control, divide, 5 over 2 times, the rest of the formula said a1 plus a sub n here. A sub 1 we discovered was negative 68, and then we would plus the negative 104. And you might have noticed I typed that in wrong, so let me change it. Now, plus negative is just minus, but I'll type in just as it appears. Press enter, and it gives us negative 430, and that was what the value should have been from the very start. So we did, in fact, do this correctly. The answer was F.